We have a new dog, little Luna. She didn't come to us as a pup, but she's quite small, and she needs a collar. Well, times as they are, we didn't really want to run out and buy a collar, so that meant ordering one online, etc., etc., etc. So we looked through our old doggy stuff, and we found a collar that belonged to a dog named Sammy. Now, Sammy's been gone many years. He was a very nice dog. We loved him a lot. Um, he lived a long life. He no longer needs the collar. Anyway, so we measured Luna's neck. This would have fit Luna, but it was sized all the way down, okay? And then it was still a little bit loose. So I said, okay, what we'll do is we'll cut some of it off. So I decided how much to cut off. I said, oh, maybe 3 or 4 inches will do it. That way, she's not full grown yet, and she may get a little bit bigger, not much bigger. Anyway, so what I did was it was like this, and I just clipped here. I took my trusty lighter, and I finished the edge off by melting it. That keeps it from raveling. Okay, be careful when you do that this is hot. And then I cut this part loose. Now, we're going to re-sew that. I don't have the equipment to heat set this. This little collar was actually no stitches at all. It was just heat set. I don't have that. I'll have to sew it. Okay. But, as you can see on this piece, it had a reflective material that was attached so that the dog would show up in the night. Well, it's gotten old, it's dirty, and it's coming off. So what I did was I took my knife and I very carefully, just slipping it along the edge like this, took the rest of it off up to this point. I'm not going to take that off because that's where it's all heat set. I don't think it's going to come off too well. And I just cleaned it up. Notice that I slipped the hardware. I slipped this hardware back and forth because, knowing me, I might not get it back on right. It's kind of straightforward, but I still might not get it back on right. So I'm going to do this without removing the hardware. So I set my machine up with some nice red thread, and I found a little piece of ribbon. Now this is grosgrain. This is a more expensive ribbon. And I'm going to stitch this down like here, like this, all the way down here, to make this for Luna, who's a little girl. And I think it'll look cute. Let's see how it goes. So, because I'm going to have to slip the hardware back and forth, I'm going to have to do this in 2 goes. I'm going to stitch it like this, and then I'm going to slip the hardware through. Then I'll stitch the other end and come back. Okay, let's get going. I'm just using regular thread. I'm not too sure how long this will hold up on a doggy. She's just a little thing. It probably will hold up quite well. And I'm just using my regular machine with not a real long stitch, but not a real short stitch. And we'll just come here. My ribbon's slipping on me a little bit. By the way, on the ribbon, I trimmed it, and then I made it curved, and then I took my lighter, like I did with the other stuff, because this is a synthetic, and just ran it back and forth across to melt the edges so it will not fray. And we're going to come around here, and we're going to sew down the other side. And here we go. I got it pretty much centered. We'll probably get Luna another one of these when the pandemic is over. Anyway, now I've come back to where I started. I'm going to back stitch a little bit, cut my threads. Now what I'm going to do is slip my ribbon through the hardware and slip the hardware down to where I've already stitched. so that I won't have problems with it. And that's just because I kind of get things mixed up sometimes, and I don't want to get the hardware set wrong. And I'm back to where I started stitching. So I'm just going to put it back in the machine and stitch it the rest of the way. Now it's not long enough to cover this entirely, but this part's going to be underneath the collar because it's going to get sized. And I need to move this a little bit farther down, I think. Go, there's my last stitches, and that's where I'm headed. Well, that much is done. I just used a dark bobbin thread. It's not going to show, and I think this will wear pretty well because the stitching is pulled in here, and I don't think it's going to wear off. All right, let's get this back where it belongs. Okay, this is the little part that gets clipped here. This is the little part that gets the adjustment here. We're going to pull it in like that, give us enough room to work. Pull it up, pull it down. There we go. Now all we have to do is stitch that, and it's going to be a chore because this is pretty small. We just want to stitch it about right there. If we can get that in our machine. Let's try it. We're not going to do anything too fancy. This is for a little dog that weighs less than probably 7 pounds. She might not even weigh 5 pounds. I don't know. And we're going to give it another row. Just back and forth 3 or 4 times. Okay, now she's about 10 inches long. We're going to adjust this to a little under 10. And I had a tape measure someplace. Just give me a second. We want it 10 inches. So here's that. Let's adjust this. That's 9 inches. We need to give it a little bit more. Now, remember, it's her neck, so when this is closed, we need a little bit more here. Is that too tight? A little tight? A little bit tight? A little tight. Loosen it a little bit. Still a little tight. Well, Mama will get it right in a minute. Right?
That's right.
Thank you very much for watching. We'll have some more videos for you. Like and subscribe.